26th at 7 p.m. First item on the agenda is approval of the agenda. But before we do that, I'm going to make an introduction. So for those of you that have not met him yet, Tony Davidson is our newest council member.
Nice to meet all of you.
Tony has replaced Dean. We held the caucus last Friday, and the results of the caucus were that Tony is now a member of the Bristol Town Council. So Tony, you want to give a little history of yourself?
What do you want to know? I worked in the Florida State Senate for a few years down in Florida. I'm from here originally, but was down there 35 years. So I worked in the Florida State Senate, worked with the sheriff's office, the school board. So I've been in the public service for quite a while. And then moved back up here just 5 years and 6 years ago now. So decided to become part of the community and help see what I can help, see who I can help, how I can help. So that's why I'm back.
So welcome to the council.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
Glad to be here.
So with that, approval of the agenda. Does everybody have a chance to review the agenda?
Yes.
Yes.
Any additions, corrections, or changes needed?
Nope.
Okay, now the agenda will stand as published, and we'll move on to the Pledge of Allegiance. Tony, would you like to lead us tonight?
Sure.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you.
Wow.
Move on to roll call. Start to my left, Doug Smith,
Here.
Tony Davidson,
Here.
Kathy Burke,
Here.
Greg Delston,
Here.
Jeff Beachy is here. To my left again, Town Marshal Steve Pring,
Here.
Legal Counsel Alex Bowman, here. Clerk Treasurer Kathy Antonelli,
Here.
Town Manager Mike Yoder,
Yes, here.
and Fire Chief Nick Cans. Good evening. Okay. We will jump right into reports. Mike, you're up first.
Tim will be here shortly. We had an alarm go off on a lift station, so he's out checking that right now. But he's the next agenda item. We may skip that, so he gets it. So, a couple meetings ago, you gave me permission to go up and spend up to $55,000 to replace Tim's truck. So I did find a used truck. If you recall our last meeting, one slipped through my hands, and that was actually a good thing because we ended up with a truck with a bed. Spent $44,000. It's a used truck, 2021. If you go to the next page, you'll see I do have some comparables of similar trucks with more miles and more dollars. So I think in this case, we got a good buy on the truck. It is a diesel. The guys wanted to try a diesel. And we moved from a 3/4 ton to a 1 ton, and we still have the other bed. The other bed's brand new, has a value between $10,000 and $15,000. So we're deciding whether we keep that bed and maybe use it on another truck or sell it. So we'll see. It is sitting out in the parking lot. If you want to take a look at this truck afterwards.
Nice.
Yeah. So it's good to have that one put to bed. It's hard to find a truck under 100,000 miles with,
Yes.
especially utility bed. It's, this one popped up and I jumped on it right away. I found it a Friday afternoon. Everybody wants the story. So I found it Friday afternoon. No, I contacted the guy Saturday afternoon, the dealer. And he says, we're open till 7. I said, I'm not gonna have anybody there till Monday. Do not sell that truck. He says, you want to put 500 down on it? I said, no, do not sell the truck. So he didn't sell the truck. Nobody actually looked at it. But our guys were there at opening at 8 o'clock Monday, and we locked that truck in as soon as they okayed it, lifted over the road.
Where was it?
Plymouth.
Oh, nice.
Dealer down there.
Okay.
I think it is Ford. So anyways.
Auto Park.
What's that?
Auto Park.
Oliver.
I'll look for you.
Plymouth, yeah.
Okay.
Anyways, we're their favorite customer according to all the emails I got. So, why don't we skip down? I'll just start working through my reports, project reports until Tim gets here. And so you'll want to switch over to me, Tim, Jeff. See if I can share this with live stream as well as us. So this to give you an overall picture of our water project, if you recall. All the red stuff is the new water mains that we started installing last fall. Not this one, because this contemplated a new well. So we completed this, and right now we're focusing out on this area. We're under the railroad, under this little Elkhart, under 120. There's a gap in here somewhere yet, but we're focusing right on here. So I have a few pictures. So this is back behind Monogram Foods, back towards the south and looking out towards Ponderosa. So there's a new water main under there. Same spot, just turn around looking north up to County Road 8. And the new water main is installed there.
Fabric Services.
Fabric Services, yes. So Niblock's doing a really good job of getting stuff cleaned up. In fact, I'll just take you to the north well field. This is Jack and Bore. This is where we went under the railroad. And so this is the north well site now that they're completed. So they've done a nice job leveling and seeding. And pretty pleased generally with how the project is wrapped up on the north side. So that's where the Jack and Bore was at. That first picture was at that site now. So next, and I should have a lot more pictures, I just want to say, but projects are moving so fast that it's just hard to keep up with pictures. So that's our water tank, and I use this picture because there's a man standing there. It gives you some perspective of that tank. Here's the schedule for the next week or so. You can see in the picture, this is the interior. That's what they call the access tube. So that'll go up on top, and then the tank is raised up around it. And you can see, right now, tentatively, May 29th will be the day that they'll be lifting that tank up, and I'll alert you all again to remind you if it stays on schedule so you can stop out.
Oh, yeah.
See the slow movement of the tank coming up. So if, on June 1st, theoretically, you'll be able to see that tank as you drive into town. It'll be pretty cool, I think.
Absolutely.
And, let me see, what do I have next? We started demolition of the,
Yeah, I saw that.
yeah, in fact, that was yesterday, and yesterday, in fact, there was a video there, but I'm not gonna bother showing you, because that's what it is today already. It's pretty much gone.
Yeah.
It's pretty much.
It was
The old water
kind of sad to see
department
it coming
building,
down.
Uh-huh.
Yes.
I drove by today.
You thought it was sad?
Mhm.
I did not shed it to you. Yes, that's gonna be a pretty amazing sight once we get the new building built. So other than that, you've noticed that we've got our first layer of asphalt down out here.
Yeah.
So they'll start on the curb. They'll be placing the curb next, and then another 2 lifts of asphalt. And sometime in the next week or so, we'll be putting the foundations for our new street lights. Jeff and I were out walking that yesterday, determining where we're going to put those in relation to the ugly Comcast wires that are there. I hope Comcast is listening. They are ugly. Please remove them from our town.
Please.
So anyways, that project's moving along. I don't have any other pictures. Elkhart Street is done. Everything else progressing well. The other stuff is for our executive session.
Okay.
And I think I'll just keep it for that. And Tim's still not here. I'm done. I mean, this would be a
Record
short,
time.
I had Economic Development Corporation yearly update. Chris was not able to make it tonight. Is that?
Will he be here Thursday?
I don't think so. Ken, why don't we just go to you and you can kill time until he gets here.
Okay.
And I'll see if I can shift to your. Okay.
So this is the cover sheet to the DPUD plan set that's being prepared, getting ready for filing, which will happen the first week of the month. And so I wanted to kind of just hit some high points here, and then I'll tell you what we're working on right now. So the gray areas that are shown in the body of the two properties, which, by the way, we're submitting this as one project. Property owners are going to jointly sign the application under the PUD, which is currently, unless you tell me to change it, we've named it the Bristol Innovation Park. And but they've agreed to work together, so we're only doing one public hearing at Plan Commission, one public hearing at the town council. So the gray areas, what we've determined is those are probably the most appropriate locations for the buildings.
You're talking.
Right.
Right.
Yep.
Dark gray.
We call those our building envelopes. We are not showing the planning staff or the plan commission or the public for that matter, any shapes or sizes of buildings because we don't know what they look like yet.
Right.
We know from other projects that we're working on, they could be anywhere between 350,000 square feet and 1,000,000 square feet. My guess is there will be multiple 350,000 square foot buildings on the site. At least that's what the site could accommodate. So right now, we one of the things that you should be aware of is that we are not planning any new municipal streets in this project yet. The only way that'll happen is if, assuming the project doesn't go forward with like a single user site or potentially even technology business and its traditional industrial park, then that developer, whoever that is, whether it's the property owners or somebody that takes the site from them, they would be responsible for deciding what the network of public streets would look like. And of course, they would have to come to the town to get all of that approved. Right now, we're assuming that the site will be served by the existing perimeter public streets, which would be Maple Street on the east, County Road 19 on the west, Rail Park Drive on the north. And Mike and I have talked about the potential for a fourth access potential going straight east of the site out to State Route 15. We've had some dialogue with the property owner. So far, he hasn't said, yeah, we'll sell you a route out there, but I don't think he understands what potential benefits could be to him. So we're not going to show that on the map, but we are going to reference it in the DPUD submittal.
That's
So
the curb cut on State Road 15 that goes nowhere.
yeah, right. And so that's that property owner. I mean, he's zoned the property, so it's already zoned, so it's not that big of a stretch. So and so what we are showing in there is what we think could look like an internal roadway within the development site. And of course, that would still be built to the town standards. It would use the same cross section as Rail Park Drive.
You're talking this.
Yep, right. Originally, we were not going to propose an access onto County Road 19, but I got to tell you, when I met with the county commissioners, they said they wanted it. And I think they have ulterior motives for that. So we could talk about that at some point, but.
Got an interesting intersection right there.
Yeah, yeah. And so the other things I should tell you is that we would propose to serve the site by bringing municipal water and sewer into the site. We would propose that the town own that because it's an asset that you want to remain in control of. And that would meet all of your standards and be built with, the direction of your utility superintendents. And so that is part of it. Stormwater, if you remember, last year, we procured and completed through a consultant, a stormwater study for this entire watershed south of the town. And so we will be proposing to interact with that study, including the development of stormwater facilities on the site that will protect that watershed, specifically the Sheep's Creek outlet to the St. Joe River that you see goes kind of through the manufactured home community there. And so the concept there is the development will be required to retain all of its developed runoff. We can release the current runoff, the pre-existing runoff, through the system the way it is right now. And then we would retain the developed runoff and then release that slowly into the watershed. And so we have pretty elaborate, well, not elaborate, but we have a fairly good idea how that's going to be managed. So on the site, there are 1, 2, 3, 4 county regulated drains. And those we are proposing in every case to reconstruct those county regulated drains as 2-stage waterways. Right now, they're
With-
single stage.
With one of your other,
Um,
if I could pull up one of the other drawings,
yeah, there's probably,
not that one.
that's, I'll keep going. I'm sure why that one's not popping up unless there's a lot of memory required. Maybe go to the next one. That one's got just as much.
You I've just got too much going on with my computer.
Could be.
Uh,
Those are big styles, so.
Yeah,
So anyway, so the goal will be to develop that stormwater system out completely, so we can go back to the county and say, no, we're not having a negative impact on the watershed. And of course, this won't be the town building this, it'll be the development. And so as a part of that, you can see in that dark area there, right where the cursor is. Yeah, that is a condition that we know as hydric soils, which means that was probably a prairie wetland at one time. And the proposal is to redevelop that wetland and to use it for the storage and treatment of stormwater. And we have a plan for that that's being developed right now, and we're planning on submitting like I said, the first week of the month. And it looks like we'll have plenty of capacity for that storage in there. And then all those county drains, when I say 2-stage ditch, right now it's a 1-stage ditch, which it goes down to a flow line, it's got a flat bottom. And we're going to basically move those banks back and develop additional storage in every one of those ditch categories, or in every one of those categories, I guess, in those corridors. And that's something that the county believes in, and we think it's a great idea. It just allows us to have more capacity for dealing with the stormwater. When we get done, we're expecting the stormwater feature to be a series of ponds, open water ponds, emergent wetlands, upland wetlands, and prairie wetlands, as and basically trying to restore that to what it originally was. And it'll be a unique feature. There hasn't been anybody who has done that in Elkhart County. So, and the good thing about it, again, this will be developer driven. We're going to require the developer do it, and it won't be the town having to either fund it or care for it. So it'll be the responsibility of the developer. Going to be a requirement of the PUD. So the green areas that we're showing in the surrounding areas, we're reacting to the town council's somewhat directive, but concern for the adjoining property owners. My walking papers, as I spoke with you on this project in the past, was do whatever we can to take care of and protect the rights of the neighboring and adjoining property owners. So we have notified 35 households. We are starting to meet with them on Thursday of this week. We have 2 meetings scheduled for Thursday this week and 2 for next Thursday. And they're going to meet with us in our little satellite office in the 2nd floor of the Goshen Chamber building in Goshen. And these are not public meetings. These are private meetings between private property owners and a private consultant working for a private property owner. And the goal there is to say, here's what we've developed. This is what we're doing at the direction of the council and of the property owners, that this is what we're developing. So the green areas represent, and it's kind of funny shapes. There's a reason for that. We are holding back the building setback is what we're showing there. No, in no case will a building be within 500 feet of any home. That's probably a lot more significant than what has been done with data centers in other communities. But again, we're trying to recognize what their concerns are, so and so that doesn't mean that within that green area, there is a hard setback, by the way, of 150 feet. But within that green area, the developer or building could still use that area, but they can't place a building in it. So it could be parking, loading, that type of thing, accessory uses, but no building. So we haven't shared this with property owners yet, but we will be this next week, and we're touching every single property owner that joins the site. So even those that are across the public road site. So the buffering elements are going to consist of a mound of various sizes. And every place where we are joining a home, we will have a mound. And that mound will have a very densely planted evergreen and deciduous tree, column of trees on the top of the mound, and then partially down the face of the mound on their side. And then
How high will those be, Ken?
at planting, they will be 2-inch caliper, so that's about 6.5 feet. But these trees could all grow to, these are trees that at full growth will be, 40, 50 feet tall. So it basically, we're developing a forest. Now, that
The
won't,
mound or the trees?
Oh,
Oh,
yeah, so the mound will be anywhere between 8 and 10 feet.
Oh.
And it could be higher in some cases. We're expecting there to be quite a bit of top dirt that comes off this site. And to be honest with you, it'll be used to build mounds.
So Ken, did Mike, did you show the picture I sent
Yeah,
of Fort Wayne?
yep. And in this, if we could open these other drawings, I could show you that we duplicated that.
Okay.
And we have some images that will be in the filing. I've got a roll of drawings that I can leave for Mike. Those aren't for release, by the way. Those are private property of the property owner. So,
Okay,
but if you want to view them, they'll be in Mike's office.
because some of those
And
mountains that I saw down there were, I'm gonna guess they were upwards of 15 to 20 feet tall.
We could have some of that tall. The one thing that's true about this site, and the other thing that one of the things that we're doing with the mound, by the way, is that in some of those images that you showed, or you took pictures of, the mound was set back away from the property line.
Yeah.
We want the mound to be as close to the property line as possible. There's a reason for that. It'll provide more visual buffer. And so like in the area, where we have the houses in the new subdivision right there along County Road 23.
Right in here.
Yeah, right in there.
Yeah.
So that is kind of up high and overlooks the farm field somewhat. It's a little bit high. So we're gonna pull the mound in close, complete all the plantings, but the site itself is gonna be graded dramatically from east to west. To build the building pads, that material is gonna have to be moved from the east side of the site along to the west side. So what's gonna happen is the site's gonna drop. And so depending on the height of the building, they can build right now, I think the county allows a 60-foot height. We're gonna ask for that to be varied, by the way, probably another 15 feet taller. But by the time that building gets down to grade, it would be hard for somebody to look out their front window and see the top of the building. because the building will be lower and the mound will be taller. So the other thing that we're doing in the understory, we did a little bit of studying on things like sound mitigation and things like that. All of that ground cover is going to be prairie grass. And it'll need some maintenance, but for the most part, it won't. And some of that, depending on the seed mix, could grow to be 6 feet in height. Most of it will be like waist high, but it'll fill up that area between under the trees and up to the understory of the plantings.
Yeah.
And the goal of that is to, mitigate beyond the dimension from the building to the house, to mitigate any, kind of fugitive sound that's could potentially get out of the site.
Yeah.
And then let me talk a little bit about some of the things that we're incorporating into the development DPUD requirements. We are stipulating some things that you haven't employed in Bristol yet in that. So as you know, you completed an exercise to update your development standards. So those are all going to be incorporated, including the lighting standard. Anymore in Bristol, you can't build a site and do what has been done like at Utility Master. That can't happen any longer. To assure that's not going to happen, the requirement in the development documents requires a photometric design to be provided with a rendering. We did this over in Middlebury at the Indiana transport site. And the reason that became so critical over there is that the Indiana transport site on the south side of Middlebury was right next to a chicken egg laying operation. And there's no way that we could have lights come on and stay on at night, but the chickens wouldn't go in. So we had to design a lighting program around that issue. So same thing here, the difference is the lights will come on and stay on, but they have to be able to demonstrate that they are night sky compliant, which means downward directed, inward directed, no fugitive light leaving the site. And so what you'd see coming down the hill from US 20 into Bristol, and you're looking out over the site, you'll be able to see the lights, but they won't glare in your eyes like what you get right now from, it won't be like that at all. And then there are going to be some enforcement requirements in that too. The town would have the right to say, fix it, or we're going to fine you.
Yeah.
So the other things that are being incorporated into this is that we know that we'll get, because we've heard it before, that the sound's gonna vibrate me, and it's gonna come through my walls and so on and so forth. They have to provide a acoustic design study before the project permits are issued that show that they can meet the Bristol standard and maintain that Bristol standard. So, and there are, as you know, if you look at the standard, it's got a daytime and nighttime, you shall not exceed.
Yeah.
And that is at the source, not, so the goal again is not only to provide the physical buffer, the dimensional buffer, but also to require them to meet the standard. So we'll be able to tell the property owners that we meet on Thursday night, okay, we heard you, and I don't even know, to be honest with you, how many property owners we're meeting with that were actually here at any meetings. I don't really know. We're gonna find out, I suppose.
Mhm.
But anyway, and so those standards are not only gonna appear in the DPUD approval documents and made a part of the DPUD rezoning, but they're also gonna be made part of the restrictive covenants that every property owner that ends up owning any part of the site has to sign and agree to. So, and from what I'm hearing, we shouldn't have any problems getting people to understand, still want the site, still want to be here, but they're gonna be willing to live with that. I haven't heard any issues with it. So anyway, so we're gonna be ready to file in 2 weeks. And And the property owners haven't asked us to slow down at this point. So we're planning on putting that in. That means we'd be back to see you in August.
Okay.
So, and so the public hearing at the county, will be the first Thursday of July. So that ought to be pretty lively. So, but we'll be prepared for it and so it should go pretty well. A couple other things. You will be asked, what about traffic? So we are requiring in the development documents that there be a very significant traffic impact analysis done. We are requiring that analysis include signal warrants at County Road 19 and State Route 120, assuming we develop an entrance onto County Road 19, and that through an impact study or through an impact agreement, they could be required to improve County Road 19 all the way up to State Route 120 and redevelop the intersection of State Route 120 and 19. It's likely that will also require a redevelopment of County Road 19 to County Road 14 and from County Road 14 to County Road 17. And so what I'm a little bit hesitant to say is that you probably won't be the only signatory to that impact agreement. It'll probably be you and the county and potentially the state of Indiana. And so there will be plenty of opportunity to enforce that impact agreement. And by the way, again, the town should not think for 1 minute that they're going to invest in any of these improvements. These are going to be driven by the developer. So the same kind of arrangement would be for Stonemont Court extended to the property line south from Rail Park Drive. The improvements, any improvements required to Maple Street down to the site entrance. Any improvements required on Industrial Drive out to State Route 15 and then the intersection at State Route 15. We've also included the potential for a signal warrant and mitigation at Earthway Drive and Bloomingdale, State Route 15. And then also the potential for a new access point on State Route 15 due east of the site. And all of that has to be studied in the project. And that is the pre-design study for the site under operation. That means the site's completely built. And so that study needs to consider the build out of the site. And so, and as you know, maybe remember that Bristol has been updating a traffic study that we started multiple years ago using the same consultant over and over again to make sure that we were being consistent. So we would require that the developer go back to that same guy and update that study, including all of those intersection warrants and all of those capacity analysis on all of those roadways, up to and including the ability for you to develop an impact agreement along, maybe in partnership with the state of Indiana and Elkhart County. So that there's no question that, okay, you're bringing the project, that's your responsibility. The other thing that we have to do as part of this site, if you've been watching any of the news on, other projects that are under construction, is we're going to require a separate and complete study for the construction phase as well. Because to be honest with you, depending on who the end user is on the site, we kind of have a feeling, and we will be doing a study assuming this is traditional dry industry manufacturing that you currently support. That would be one condition. The other would be the potential for a hyperscale data center. They're dramatically different, by the way. Traffic impact for your current, category of industry is significantly more than what under operation a data center would look like. The employee counts go way down. But that isn't true under construction. Construction is the opposite, completely the opposite. So for a site of this size, you could have 3,000 people showing up here under construction. Plus, gravel trains, dump trucks, equipment trucks, building materials, everything for the entire duration of the construction. So there has to be two separate studies. We'll have impact under construction and we'll have impact under operation. So we're gonna require both. And I don't really know even how you figure out what the parameters of the one under construction would be, other than to look at similar sites of similar size. So, you know, the one on the east side of South Bend, I mean, I've heard numbers like 4,000 people there a day. I don't know if that's right or true or not, but, you know.
But we're designed and located in such a way that, we can actually keep all of that traffic out of the town and off the town streets by accessing State Road 15 here
Yeah,
and State Road 120 out here.
it's,
And
and that is the concept and the importance of the impact agreement. Because we might have to tell this developer, you know, that you can't even start construction until this stuff is ready. Because, you know, I mean, if you're gonna, and, you know, if we're gonna play catch up, you know, it's not like this site is sitting right on the state highway. It's not. I mean, it's remote from the state highway.
Right.
So that's gotta get fixed, you know, and, you know, people that we've have talked to aren't really surprised by that. I mean, they're saying, well, it's our, you know, if it's our project, we gotta take care of it, you know, so. But anyway, that's gonna be written into the DPUD, so when the thing is approved, anyone that comes and says, I want the site, or I wanna move this project forward, they're gonna understand it going ahead. So, and, you know, we might actually talk to Alex about, impact agreements on other matters. You know, relative to like stormwater and, you know, like. Right now, we don't believe you're gonna have any issues serving, a site as long as they are able to come to us and say, we're not gonna be any more significant, municipal utility user than your typical dry industry. We would have some concerns at full development, but initially, probably not. But that would be, any concerns in that regard probably lead us to the idea that we need an impact agreement on municipal utilities as well. And, because, you know, the last thing you wanna do is go out and tell everybody, hey, we're all paying for it. You know, that shouldn't happen.
Right.
So,
It can happen.
yeah. So we probably, you know, and there's probably some things that we can do in advance of that, but I believe that it'll be likely that, you know, during the process, the lead up to this project actually get going, that we'll probably have to work on impact agreements like that give them a time, you know, a timetable for when that, you know, if they come in and say, we're gonna take half of your remaining capacity, that's gonna be an issue. We're gonna have to do something about that.
Yes.
So, and, not to say that you wouldn't wanna do something about it, but your current group of ratepayers shouldn't be paying for it. So,
Right.
so, but anyway, so all of that, we're trying to be careful and try to include it in there and, you know, just including the language and the requirement for, just understand that you gotta sign an impact agreement for traffic, municipal utilities, stormwater, all of that stuff. So,
Okay.
so no one misunderstands what they're getting into, so. But anyway, we're in good shape. We'll keep you updated on the property owners. Last time I checked with Angela, we only had 2 property owners that reserved a slot for those meetings. So hopefully that changes in the next couple days.
Yeah.
So, but that probably changed today, to be honest with you, because we're gonna meet with them. First group at 5:30 on Thursday, and the second group at, 6:30 on Thursday, and then same again next week.
Hopefully you only get property owners.
Well, they were the only ones that notified, and we were very specific, saying these are not public meetings. These are private meetings between the consultant for the property owners and you as a property owner that joins the site. So if they come with a group of people, we're gonna say, if you aren't an adjoining property owner, you're not coming in. And if you didn't call ahead and reserve a spot, you're not coming in. It's not the way it's gonna work.
Right.
Yeah.
And, otherwise, we won't get anything done.
Right.
That's
For
true.
sure.
Yeah.
So,
Okay.
and really, to be honest with you, we'd like to be able to talk,
One-on-one,
yeah,
more intimate setting.
and say, show me where you live, and we'll tell you what we're gonna do. And then you tell me what more you need, or if there's anything you don't, well, I'm sure they're not gonna like it, but some won't care. There's some people out there that will never see a building.
Yeah.
Even though they're joining the site, they will never see a building.
Yeah.
Oh, one other thing. I do want to talk about, and I don't know exactly how to explore this yet, but there are things that I would be concerned about if I were an adjoining property owner, I'm just thinking that way. I don't know if we can limit weekend work or holiday work. Just the activity of grading on the site. I know we can limit, dust migration. We can tell them they can't have it. They gotta, do whatever they have to do to manage dust. But I'm not sure whether we can say you can't work on weekends and you can't work on holidays,
Well, we've got
Could be part of written
regulations.
commitment.
Yeah,
Be part
Well,
of
we've got
zoning.
regulations as to time of day, don't we? Yes, we do.
There
As
is
far as
some within the ordinance, yeah.
I mean-
there's some.
yeah.
Yeah, like for construction sites and stuff, but I don't know how that would apply to what you're
Yeah,
discussing.
there's some property owners here that won't be within half a mile of the nearest building.
Yeah.
They're still adjoining, but they're a long ways away. So,
So if this was all RV manufacturing buildings going up, would we even be thinking about that?
no. They're probably not.
Well,
We never thought about it before.
there's also a timeline difference from an RV factory
Well,
going up. And
Yeah, so this is a 10 to 15 year build out, but it is that for RVs anyways. I mean, it could take. I was gonna share this later, but it just occurred to me, Chris Dager always brags about Bristol and the amount of activity we've done in the last 5 years, and we've done a lot of activity. But it's mostly been expansions and remodeling. We
Yeah.
really only built 3 substantial buildings, and it's been on Pete Leatherman's ground. Of the 1,600 some acres that we've annexed since I've been here, not one single building.
Mhm.
And how long did it take Pete to build that out? So I'll show you some other scary numbers on commercial building permits in the last 5 years. If a data center folks come in, then you've got one buyer and you've got 10 years of construction, jobs, constructions, new building. If it's not that, then you've created a site that's really expensive for RV manufacturing development. With all that buffering and all the other restrictions here, it's gonna take a while to fill that out.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, and it would take substantially longer, I think.
yeah.
So, but from my perspective, I'm not talking with an end user yet. I've had discussions with potential development people that know end users. Yeah, and I don't know how far off that is, but it probably won't get serious until we get the zoning. So, once that step is over with, we do feel pretty comfortable in telling you that the PUD, as you're looking at it, is the limits of the PUD, but it could end up not being the limits of the project. Because there's already zoned property to the north
Mhm.
that will likely somehow be, used in the project, including some of the rail side sites that remain in the rail park. So it's highly likely that could grow into the area, so. But anyway, that's all I had.
Thank you. Any questions? We want to make sure that this is very much council led, this PUD.
Yeah,
So we'll make sure
I'll
we got all of our.
honest with you, when I met with the county commissioners, I said, I got pretty clear direction from the council on what they wanted to see. So we're incorporating those things and maybe even upping the game a little bit. And there's no reason for us to back down from that, as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah.
Right, I
Agreed.
agree.
And when we meet with property owners, we're gonna tell them that we're working for the property owners, but we're also taking direction directly from the council on how we're supposed to be, managing the relationship with this project and the adjoining landowners. And, I think you've made that pretty clear, so.
And I think that's the commitment you made to the neighboring property owners right in this area through here, because we listen to their concerns.
Yeah.
I don't care about these folks up here or out here. It's these folks that are most impacted. I think you met all of their concerns and now I think exceeded.
What about all the property owners that are from like Middlebury and Millersburg and stuff like that?
I'm sorry.
Signatures from Florida.
Yeah, no.
Florida and Shipshewana and
Grand Rapids.
Some to buy a farm down and build a home.
all those people
Then
that
we'll-
came to the, yeah,
So the 500 feet, that's proposed building site to the nearest building, right? Not property line.
No, yeah, so this would be from the owner's home. We're measuring 500 feet from their home to where we're drawing the building setback within the development site.
So,
So that is the building, and it, within that and behind,
Right,
behind our berm, they could do parking or other,
yeah.
miscellaneous uses,
so where I have the cursor here, is this 500 feet or is this 500?
There, again, it's from the property, from the home. So like the reason that angle is cut,
Mhm.
is you can see how close those homes
Their
are.
phones are.
Yeah,
So this
Yep.
represents the 500 feet and
Yep.
this is the area they can use for parking.
they can use the area in the green as long as they don't put a building in.
Okay,
So,
I
we're making
just
sure
thought
that
maybe-
property owners are understanding.
yeah, I want to make sure we understand that. I thought maybe the building setback was here to here.
Yeah,
so this is the building area or what's
The dark gray is the building area and, just the areas that we thought a large scale building could fit.
Okay, so what's the light gray for?
That's probably gonna be it's either gonna be, remain open space or it's gonna be parking. Actually, I think in that one triangle there, we're gonna have a retention area, upland retention area.
Yeah, there is.
Yeah. So, like,
Okay, but so this is
Where
the
does your
500
mound
feet
live?
left to this cut.
the mound will be up tight against the property line. That's where we'll get the most effect from.
On the owners, on the property owners?
Yeah.
On the developer side of the fence.
Yeah.
Okay.
So the, like the one lady there who's got the 5 acres, it's right on County Road 14.
Uh-huh.
Go over to the west,
This lady?
west, right,
Right here.
right there. So her house is 500 feet from the property line already.
Mm-hmm.
So in that case, there's a 150-foot buffer that will be the minimum buffer anywhere, is 150 feet. But we're gonna need to talk to her directly because it's gonna be, we're having to extend the buffer farther north to keep her from having to, have a building in her kitchen window, where she can look right out and see a building. So hopefully she's willing to meet with us. We would offer to, let us do some buffering on your land. Let's take a look and see what we can do. Can we help you? Just coming out of your property. We did that down at the solar farm
No.
in Millersburg, where people said, "Oh, I'm seeing nothing but solar. I'm not see nothing but solar panels." And so we went to them and said, "I tell you, we have a solution for that. Tell us what view shed you want to protect, and we'll come on your property and do the landscape." And people took us up on it. So a couple of, and we're using some examples of some of our successful buffering that we did for industrial sites in Goshen, the solar farm in Millersburg. That was a pretty dramatic buffering that we did down there. Even though we didn't have to worry about sound there, people didn't want to look at solar panels, so we commingled a bunch of different things. So, and we honestly, when I asked our planners to look at this, I told them, I want you to consider view sheds. What are they gonna be looking at? And then that's what we want to make sure that we're not just gonna pile a bunch of dirt up there. It's gonna be a landscape mound with a reverse planting scheme and like there along County Road 20 or 23, we are probably even thinking about putting some street trees along that, like a soldier course of street
Like
trees.
through here.
Yeah, yeah,
Mhm.
because that's right next to the road. The one thing that we still need to talk about is, we do have a couple of, full approaches to County Road 23 into that piece of ground that's kind of south and east across County Road 23.
Right here.
Yeah, no, down further, right in there,
Oh,
south of Mr. Otto's, Lester
Oh,
Otto's
yeah.
house.
yeah.
So it's not likely that we'll be, because that's a very significant grade in there. It's not likely that we might go in there and move dirt out of there. But it's not likely that that will be the site for one of the big buildings.
Those sites
So-
are gonna be bought up.
Yeah,
But as soon as we get a buyer for sure, my
I
guess
think-
is they're gonna come and buy it.
The Valmont property and the
And
Lester's house.
yeah. So those are the only two areas going due south there, due east, south of Lester Otto's house, that where we were gonna ask for full access points from County Road 23.
Hmm.
And of course, we'll have to improve County Road 23 in that area.
Yeah.
But, other than that, we don't need it. And even then, we may not need it. So, but it could be the location for, the support buildings, their security, their offices, those types of things. They need sites like that too, so. Anyway. Okay. So
Thank you,
I'll,
Ken.
I'll keep you guys updated as we go forward. Okay. If you have any questions at any point, just let me know. Okay.
Thank you, Ken.
Thanks, Tim.
Thanks.
You got it. I'll leave this for you.
Thank you.
You got,
You wanna stick around for the executive session
Oh,
and
sure.
the other project?
okay.
All right, now we'll go back to you, Jeff, and we'll pick up with the Belmont issue. It's Tim's here to plead, or not plead, explain your position.
Welcome, Tim.
Maybe start with
Homeless Tim.
homeless Tim.
Homeless Tim.
Totally gone.
Maybe explain the history, how we got to where we are now, and they were here at the last meeting, gave their perspective.
Okay, so, originally, they put in this tank because I believe the pumps weren't ready, or the meter was not available yet to hook up to the town's, system. So they wanted to be able to discharge using their restrooms and that. And so they wanted to put in the tank as a temporary. So we agreed to it, and they drew up the drawings and everything, so we knew exactly what it was, but it all along was supposed to be a temporary. It's never designed to be a permanent fixture. And so, so that all happened. And then as things went along, it went on too long and it became a permanent fixture, unfortunately. So I had had conversations several times with the prior plant manager about getting it removed. And he kept telling me that they would get on it. And in the meantime, I have had conversations with him about what are they doing about maintaining that. And he kept telling me that they were having it pumped out regularly. Well, they had Middlebury Septic was the one that was doing it. And so we also used them from time to time. So I had asked them from time to time how often they were doing it. And there were times that there was big spans in between it. So it really wasn't being done as I was being told. So, even the county then got involved with it, and we both talked to them about this needs to come out. And so then there was this big wall in there, and then they changed plant managers. So there was like no communication with anybody. I wasn't getting any response back. Well, then finally I got a hold of the maintenance guy down there, and they said, well, he's gone. There's an interim, so I ended up talking with Kim Ball, who kind of gave me an update that there was a new plant manager coming in, which was the Jennifer Beal. And, so, it took me a little bit of time to get connected with her because, she was dealing with some health issues. And, we finally got a meeting set up with her. And, so I met with her, explained everything that was going on. And at that point, I was told by, I believe, their safety manager, Nancy, I think, her name. She said that it had been being cleaned out better than before. I said, well, I said, regardless of that, it was never meant to be in there and it needs to come out. At that point, after our conversation, she says, well, we'll get it taken care of. You know, we use them on many projects, we'll get a hold of them and have it removed. Next thing I know, Mid-States is coming back and fighting against the whole thing. So, that's kind of where it's at. And so they're trying to minimize the whole thing, come down to this little tank in there. The whole thing is, in all the other manufacturing places, other than older ones, the the sanitary sewer portions are separate from the production parts of it.
Industrial waste.
Yes, the industrial part. And so we said, you can keep that in there so that you can have that separate as long as you separate. And they said, well, it's really too difficult for us to do that at this point. So we said, well, then put a straight pipe through. They said, well, we don't want to do that because it's going to trash our pumps. It's like, well, at this point, you know, that's your options, is what we gave them. And so they now want to come up with a smaller tank so that the stuff will drop into that. But again, maybe she's maintaining it better, but what if she leaves? We're back to someone else that's not maintaining it. You know, then it really becomes another septic tank, which is not permitted. So that is my argument. It should not be allowed in there.
I don't care how long it's been, temporary is temporary,
That's right.
period. I don't care if it's been 2 years, temporary is temporary, you need to take it out.
So what are they putting through the system that will trash their pumps?
Well, their whole argument is not that even particles or anything from their production, it's what their employees may be putting down.
Right.
And it's like, well, you don't have like thousands of employees, you may have 30 or 40 employees. Train your employees. And if you have problems, you do something with your employees.
So the pumps that they're afraid of getting trashed, is that typical with an industrial user? That they have pumps that pump the waste out to the,
It's not the inside, it's their pumps on their property that pump all the way up to it's it actually pumps all the way up into our lift station,
Okay,
so.
and is that typical for an industrial user to have those?
Some, well, yeah, Lippert has a, that pumps all the way from the west side of the building all the way to 429.
Okay,
Several places that have that kind of system, yes.
okay,
Some
Like a
have
grinder,
gravity.
a grinder pump?
Yeah, it's a grinder,
Yeah.
yeah.
okay,
You know, unfortunately, like, lift station number 9. So we have Robert Weed, we have Util Master, and we have Great Lakes, all coming into that. And so from time to time, those things get bound up. We have to pull them up and clean them out. So we got to a point that it's really odd. But came to a point that like twice a month, we were having to pull a pump sometimes to clean these things out. So we were really close to, okay, send out a letter to all 3 of you guys every time that this happens, because we can't pinpoint who's doing it. We really believe it's the till master. But we can't guarantee who it is. So every time it happens, you all get a third of the cost of it to be cleaned out. Because it costs like $1,700 every time we had to have someone come out there. That's why we really want to get a truck with our own meter.
Yeah.
And so, then after the accident, when someone hit it, we had it pulled one time, and it's kind of weird. It's like it got jolted just right, maybe there's like a bigger opening down there, I don't know what. So maybe we shouldn't fix the lift station. But anyways, so, some places are worse than others. That's probably the worst place that happens, because you got 3 different industries sitting in one lift station.
Yeah.
So, but, you know, for what they have, they're the only ones going into it. So if that's the problem, deal with your employees. Because you're the only one going into that lift station. And it's not like their pumps are huge. I mean, you got Monogram, they're wanting to increase their water line, their water pumps in there and the water line, because every 2 months, they're spending $25,000 on a pump because it's cavitating in the pump. You know, and you're talking about a pump that maybe you have to replace it every 5 years, and it's probably a $2,500.
Yeah.
If that. You know, it may go way longer than that, you just may have to pull it every once in a while,
Yeah.
and have your maintenance guy clean it. But still, talk to your employees.
I think they did mention when they came, didn't they mention something about the employees and the clogging, that they were afraid of that and all of that?
yeah, they don't want to ruin their pumps.
Yeah, they did mention that when they came here.
So, I mean,
I don't know, I'd take the tank out though.
yeah, you know, and it's like Thor, one time we went down there, one of the pumps that tripped, we opened that up, we looked down there. We had Sharpies, we had a bunch of earplugs with cords in them, all kinds of stuff. So I just went in and got the plant manager and I said, I'd like you to come out here and look at this. And they looked down in there and they said, what's all that? And I said, well, that's for you guys. I said, you're the only ones that go into the slip station. And I said, you know, that's money to you guys. And if you mess up these pumps, it's gonna be money to you guys because you're the only ones going into the slip station.
Yeah.
So you need to talk to your line guys and have them talk to their guys about what they flush down the toilet.
I can't
Yeah.
imagine flushing that stuff anyway.
Why-
What trash cans for?
Yep.
I mean, I just don't, it's
Well, they're
unbelievable.
lazy. They don't wanna go back to their station and put it at their stations and they can't carry it out of the plant.
They
so
should
they
have
just
trash
flush it.
cans in the toilet, in the bath, maybe they don't.
They don't think about what happens.
Yeah.
Maybe they don't have trash cans in their
Okay.
bathrooms.
So that's where it all stands.
Okay.
And so, I mean,
Well, I think, Alex, you hit on a point at the last meeting where we really don't even have a process for a variance.
That's correct. Yeah, your current structure, the ordinance is the way they're structured now. There's a bright line rule that says that these types of installations aren't permitted, full stop. And you don't, you could craft yourself a variance procedure. I think you've got that home rule authority, but the way it's written now, you don't have the ability to say yes or no. The rule is no.
Tim, did we ever document the process of that being a temporary solution? Is there any email correspondence that says temporary
I
solution?
look back and, no, I don't believe there is.
Okay.
We should check our records.
Yeah.
Because we were involved in the review of that project when it was being
Okay.
proposed.
Seems like the county health department was, wow.
Yeah, we had a unbelievable wrestling match with their designer and their contractor.
Yeah, it was a mess. That whole project was a mess.
It was, I don't know how many times we issued the same comments to them, and then they would send us back a set of plans that still weren't compliant.
Okay,
And I remember this pump thing, and it was absolutely supposed to be a temporary thing, so they could start.
okay.
And then it
don't
was
think
supposed to be
Any disagreement about it being temporary. Everybody acknowledges it was to be temporary. It's just that now they've changed their mind.
I think they even mentioned the fact that they knew it was
Yeah, I think you're
temporary,
right.
but
They
they
did.
didn't, they don't wanna get, yeah, I think when they were here, they mentioned
Yeah,
it.
Yeah.
They just don't wanna go through the
You have
experience.
to pull up the old recording of the meeting when they were here.
So,
okay,
well, there are products out there that are significantly resilient that, can handle that kind of a facility, but they would have to spend some money.
yeah,
And,
They don't want to.
comes as a package,
yeah.
you know.
And the other thing is I asked, and I gotta check with her. Was waiting for all this clear, but I gave her an industrial, survey to fill out at that same meeting and send in to IDEM. And at this point, I don't think even that has been done because they adjust their pH, and by that, they should be permanent. And I don't even think she's done that, so, there's no follow with
okay.
this stuff.
So there's a history of non-compliance. Basically what they say they're gonna do, they just don't do it anyways.
They can get away with it.
Okay. So the motion was the,
The request was to figure out a way to allow this smaller tank. But,
right,
I mean, hearing Tim's story,
and
No.
we tabled this at the last meeting.
wait here.
So procedurally, we would want to pull it off the table.
I mean, technically speaking, I mean, I suppose there really isn't an item of business before you, because
Mm-mm.
you can't act on it anyway. There is no valid variance procedure
Right.
that's been requested, and so essentially you've had public comment from a landowner, business owner in town, seeking relief from the town's code of ordinances, but you're not empowered to provide that relief.
There's really nothing we can do. I mean, we
Well, I
can
think-
just enforce the ordinance.
I was gonna say, the only thing I would say is maybe make a motion to deny the request, just to make it clear.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I think that would certainly be.
because that would kind of, that would dot the I and cross the T, so to speak,
I would agree with that.
that they would then understand that, no, the tank is no longer an option. It's not, it's not allowed. You need to redo your system so that the tank is removed completely,
And who
or you put a
enforces
line
that?
through it.
Who enforces that?
The town, I mean.
Yeah,
Town
we-
utility, would, the town council can.
Yeah.
Tim can. It's, I mean, based upon what's been described, I mean, there's as a non-compliant utility user, which is effectively what it is. Probably what it would, the path forward, if the council were to entertain and adopt a motion to decline, to reject the request, to really get the process rolling and to have, if the town, the hammer it wanted to swing, it would be to provide a notice that said, you're within 300 feet, you need to connect, you need to abandon all of your other septic systems, et cetera, that aren't connected to the public utility. If you don't do it within 90 days, then the town is empowered to go to court and compel that compliance and recover its costs for it.
Yeah.
So that's the hammer that can be swung.
So maybe it's a smaller hammer to start off with. It's just a letter from you that says you're not in compliance, you need to remove the tank.
It's certainly, that is, the statute would require that notice, yes. That then sets, that's the small hammer that sets the bigger hammer in motion.
Yeah.
Actually, the town manager can do it. He works cheaper than your attorney.
Well, that's
So
fair.
I can send that letter. I'll send that letter.
Everybody works cheaper than our attorney.
Cheaper than George, that's.
Yes, yes.
You need to bring the baby one of these.
Okay. All right, so do we want to go through a formal motion? Is there,
I make a motion, we authorize a letter to Belmont,
I'll
specifying
second that.
whatever it is, the conditions,
rejecting the request?
redirecting the request according to statute.
Okay,
And we got a second.
motion by Kathy, second by Tony, open for discussion.
Everything to do?
No further discussion, will you vote? Dr. Smith,
Yes.
Tony Davidson,
Yes.
Kathy Burke,
Yes.
Greg Dolsky.
Yes.
And Jeff Beach is yes. Motion carries. Okay,
And that gives them how many days in? 90 days?
I actually don't think we'll have any problem with this. They've been actively trying to find a solution, so I think they know they've got to do something. But, yeah, if Tim doesn't see any action in a month, we'll give him a month, and see what happens. Actually, all they need to do is pull the lid and put a pipe right straight to the tank, right? That's all I have to
It is cheap.
okay,
do.
all right. Anything else?
Not for me.
Kathy, nothing under your purview tonight, right?
Correct.
Alex, nothing else under you?
Nothing for me.
Questions about upcoming council meeting agenda items?
No.
Other comments or questions?
Mm-mm.
Or a motion to adjourn?
Make a motion to adjourn.
Motion by Greg, second by Kathy, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.